Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now that I have some good time behind this optic, I think it's a good time to have a discussion on it. So obviously we are talking about the Trijicon SRO. So for those of you who don't know, the Trijicon SRO is kind of their large window competition style optic. They do have the HD now, I think it's called, from Trijicon, which is also a large window, but kind of addresses the durability issues with this one. But those are even more expensive, so I haven't been able to get my hands on that yet. But as for the SRO, their large window kind of competition style optic, it is a nice round large window, which makes it extremely easy to pick up the dot for kind of faster target acquisition, faster follow-up shots, faster shooting. This specific model is the 1.0 MOA. However, they do make a 2.5 and a 5 MOA. I would probably recommend the 2.5 for most people, but I wear contacts, I have astigmatism, and I feel like 1 MOA dots work best for me. This housing around here is 7075 aluminum, which makes it durable, but there has been some durability issues reported by a lot of people. If you drop this optic, it will break, just being completely honest. It is a $500 to $600 optic, and if you drop it more than a couple feet, you're going to shatter your glass. And that kind of is what it is. It's what happens when you decrease all of this housing around the optic to increase the window size, increase the field of view. It's kind of a trade-off. The glass is tempered glass, which is super nice. It's super clear. I mean, it's a Trijicon. Their optics are just kind of the cream of the crop, especially when it comes to the glass. It's your RMR footprint, so that's pretty standard for Trijicon. You got 8 different brightness settings, 6 for normal, 2 for NVGs. I normally am on right about 4. That seems to work best for me. And they claim to have a 3-year battery life. It's listed on the website when you use that like 4 out of 8 brightness in certain degrees, but I try to change my battery every year just to make up for that. If you also set it into dark conditions, it will dim down, but I just turn mine off when I have it kind of locked up and not out at the range, just to save on that battery. And it does claim to be waterproof up to 10 feet, but I do not make money from YouTube. I work a normal job, so I will not be testing the waterproof aspect of this. Maybe one day we can do one of those. I'm sure there's other people who put videos up. But those are kind of the specs of it. You got your plus and minus brightness adjustment buttons. They're super big, pretty tactile, so easy to hit. You don't have to work in here. Got your battery cap right in there, so you can take this battery, replace it without having to re-zero the optic, which is huge. It is a pain to have to take an optic out and re-zero it just to change the battery. Obviously, you got your windage elevation knobs, which work great. They're actually a little bit nicer, I feel like, than the Holosun ones I've dealt with before. They seem to be quite a good improvement from any kind of cheaper optic. So my experience with this optic has been great. I have not had any failures. I have not had it wash out when it's kind of bright out. I know people have talked about that issue. It hasn't ever turned off on me. It hasn't gone haywire in any way. It just ran great. It is super easy to find this dot when you're coming up from a holster or trying to get on your next target quick. This makes it so much easier than some of these smaller dots. I've used some smaller like concealed carry dots or even an aim point, and this makes it so much easier. It's honestly kind of like a cheat code. If you go from a smaller dot to this, it's kind of blows it out of the water when it comes to target acquisition. So it's been super fun. I kind of would say this dot is more for your range toy or competition. I wouldn't suggest carrying this dot. It is a little more fragile than any closed emitter, and with it being an open emitter, you know, you can get dust, water, whatever back in here, and it is kind of going to distort your image quite a bit. So there are pros and cons to it, and I think the biggest issue a lot of people have is that this dot comes in online. You can find them anywhere from $500 to $600, so that is the kind of a price of some of the firearms you're putting that on. However, you are paying for that Trijicon quality. It is great glass, it is aluminum, it is made in the USA, which I think these days is kind of becoming more and more important, especially when supporting the firearm industry. You do get this nice hard shell box with it, which I don't know how much that matters to most people. It doesn't really matter to me because once I mount this thing, I'm keeping it. So if you're looking for a great kind of range competition, go have fun, go shoot fast, go shoot a lot, I would recommend this SRO. And for most people, I'd recommend the 2.5 MOA. I think the next step, I may try to look at maybe that Vortex, the new large Vortex, or even maybe we can find a Holosun comp for cheap and kind of do a comparison. But for right now, this thing has just run flawlessly, and it's my favorite optic to go to the range with. So let me know down in the comments if you guys have any experience with these Trijicons, if you've had any issues, if you've had any good experiences, let me know. But to me, it's worth the money so far, and I've been really happy with it. Thanks again, guys, for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.